Morning folks, Jer here on Thursday the 10th of November with your Leeds news. Some usual logistical stuff to get out of the way. If you are a fan of the channel, if you like the content we're putting out, you can support the channel by liking or subscribing to the videos on the channel. That's pretty much it. But we do daily news videos, we do match reviews and match previews, as well as transfer news that comes in, which is starting right now. So we'll start off with the Leeds news today. There's not a huge amount, there usually isn't after a game, except the big stuff, which would be the San Francisco 49ers rumoured takeover, which came out again yesterday. We'll get to that at the back end of the video. We'll start with some comments though from Jamie Carragher, who was talking earlier on the week with Gary Neville about the Leeds defence and the Leeds team. And he said, asked about Leeds survival, he said, I can't be sure of Leeds survival. He said, if you think about their back four, they're poor individually. He said, I don't know if it's the system, but when you see them as players, you always feel like they've got mistakes in them. That's been one of the major problems of the Leeds team this year, is individual errors that have cost us goals, which has been a problem. And it'd be easy for everyone to say, Gary Neville in this interview was talking about Jesse Marsch pretty much will never be accepted by Leeds fans because he's American, which I think is a ridiculous statement to make. I know there's always going to be a pocket of people who won't accept him just because of that, and they're pretty vocal. But you judge people on results, you judge people on the Leeds position, and we're 12th in the table. So, you know, you just judge them on that. Take it game by game. But yeah, not a nice comment from Gary Neville. Good man, Gary. There's a discrimination comment if ever I saw one. Moving on to Leeds players and potential outgoings. Adam Forshaw has been rumoured and looks like has been officially transfer listed by Leeds. According to Eurosport journalist Dean Jones, Leeds have reportedly put Forshaw up for sale, and Dean Jones has gone on to say that there is plenty of interest in Adam Forshaw, especially coming from the Championship, with a lot of top clubs in the Championship who will be very interested in getting Adam Forshaw's services. He's been desperately unlucky with injuries, amongst other players. Tyler Roberts, who's out on loan at the moment. I like Adam Forshaw. I always thought he did well for Leeds when he played, but he's just not there often enough. You know, he's in the Pat Bamford mould now of, you know, as a player, but is always injured. So that's unfortunate for Adam to see him moving on. He's in his 30s now. I think we're looking at a summer of a lot of players potentially moving on who are in their 30s. I think the older brigade, the old Championship team, I think you're going to see that passing on happen probably this summer. Newer players coming in that will replace those kind of players. Sonny Perkins, he played last night. He made his debut for Leeds in the defeat to Wolves. Leeds have been accused by West Ham of underhanded tactics in relation to Sonny Perkins and essentially tapping up the player whose contract expired at West Ham and moved to Leeds for free under a scholarship deal. Leeds are on the hook for compensation, but that is being argued at the moment in tribunal. Leeds have denied any wrongdoing with this transfer, as they did with John Kevin Augustin, but there's a connection. There's if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. Basically, so Leeds are denying any wrongdoing, and they've said that based on his scholarship status, his limited first team minutes, and his salary when he was at West Ham, Leeds don't believe they should be paying any more than $750,000, which would be a steal. A lot of the current Leeds underage players Leeds paid in the early millions for. Sam Greenwood was $1.5 million. Carragher was about $1 million. I think Alvin McCalmont was even possibly in around $1 million as well. So they'll be getting a bargain with Sonny Perkins. He looked okay last night. But we'll get to that at the end of the video. Transfer rumours and the bingo card. Boom, there you go. Ben Brereton Diaz said he plans to stay at Blackburn from January, even though his contract is out of contract at the end of the season. He looks like he's weighing up seeing if Blackburn can actually push and make it into the Premier League. They're doing very well at the moment. But Diaz has said that his focus is on the playoffs or getting promoted with Blackburn. They've brought in players to help strengthen that squad, and he wants to be part of that, and he has no intention of leaving the club in January. Well, we'll see what happens with that. There's rumoured clubs are Leeds, West Ham, Manchester United and Seville are all rumoured to be interested in the striker at the moment, who's got 11 goals this season, doing really, really well again. Moving on to the big story, the main one, we'll get through this. The 49ers takeover. So we reported it, or not reported it, but we found the story that was floating around 2 or 3 days ago, and it kind of found its way out yesterday from other sources, and the 49ers takeover looks like it's moving. Looks like it's in process. US banking sources say that there have been moves in recent weeks to secure investment for the full takeover, and they understand the funds are now available for the takeover. There's a bit of moving around when you go to do a full takeover. The Premier League like to see that you've got the funds in place to actually do the takeover and fund the running of the club. So they have to move some stuff around to be able to show that, and it looks like that is all in place and ready to go. One of the sources said that the finances have been put in place and the 49ers are now getting their ducks in a row for the takeover. Peter Lowry is one of the key people that you'll see along with Parag Marathe. And Peter Lowry, who joined the board last year, is an Australian businessman, but is a very wealthy Australian businessman and a lifelong Leeds United fan. He is part of this takeover bid. Lowry himself has worth quite a lot of money, and if you want to put this into context, Adrian Radrizzani is one of the poorer owners in the Premier League, and there's a ranking in the York Trading Post today, and it'll show you where his net worth is in around 450 million, which is one of the lowest net worths of any owner of the Premier League teams. The York family and 49ers Enterprises are rumoured to be worth in and around £5.1 billion. And Peter Lowry himself is worth in and around £1.5 billion. What that would do, an estimated worth of about 6.6 million, would put Leeds, if under the new ownership of York family and Lowry, would put Leeds in a situation where they would be level with probably Arsenal at Stan Kroenke's wealth, and put Leeds between 5th and 6th most wealthiest owned clubs in the Premier League. So this rumour that the usual doom and gloom brigade are touting around on Twitter yesterday of the 49ers are broke and have no money isn't remotely true. It's not even slightly true. If you want to find out, there's a Cam Inman video that we did. Cam Inman will tell you all about the finances of the club, and they're a very rich organisation. So you can check that out on the channel if you want to. But that looks like it's going to move through. As I said, Rad's worth 450 million. The Yorks and Larry together worth about £6.6 billion. And they're looking to get this moving. Now, whether it happens now, whether it happens in the new year, whether it happens at the end of the season, they still had that buyout in 2024. This could just be a case of moving things into place now for that 2024 takeover, which is only a year away. Or we could start seeing some moves in. We know there's an equity swap going on there at the moment between the funds the 49ers have put in and taking that money off the price tag, and Radrizzani's money that he's put in and trying to get money back from that way. And Rads has put in a lot. Rads has spent quite a lot of money on Leeds. On players alone, Radrizzani and Leeds has spent about 221 million in the entire time that he's been in charge of the club. So a lot of money's gone into the team and the players, and a lot of players didn't work, but they're now ready for that next level of investment that they really need to push on and step up. And you can understand why Leeds probably aren't fishing in the big pond when it comes to transfer markets, when you realise that Radrizzani's net worth is significantly lower than most of the owners in the Premier League. So that's it for the news review. A real short conversation with the Wolves game. I'm not going to do a full match review because I don't think it merits it. It was an average game of football. There was nothing exciting about the game. Great to see some of the young players get a game. I thought Leo Kjelde was excellent at centre half, along with Luke Ayling was good, steady, nothing special out of him. But then you look at the other side of the pitch and Firpo and Llorente, which just gives me nightmare fuel. The game was sloppy pretty much, but it was good to see the likes of Joseph, JB get a game. JB was okay, he looked okay. First half especially, Perkins was excellent the first half. Second half went out of the game, kind of Leeds got lost a bit. And I thought that Joseph looked like he could do something and looked dangerous around the box. We just in the second half we just didn't get the ball forward. We didn't get the ball into them, so disappointing there. Joffrey went off with an injury. A poor enough first half from Joffrey, offside a lot. And then went off injured, but the club have said that it doesn't look like it's anything serious at the moment, and they reckon they should have him back for the weekend, hopefully. But yeah, massive lack of creativity, I thought, and that's why we didn't get anything of Jack Harrison. Poor again. Just overrunning the ball, too many touches, getting caught in possession, usual Jackie stuff. Looks like a player with no confidence at all. So I think one of the things I wrote down in my notes last night was I had no extreme emotion or a reaction to the game at all. It was just a meh game of football. It wasn't enjoyable to watch. It was just two poor sides pretty much. The big plus being the young people, and you'll hear it a lot over the next week of, pleased for the young lads will be the most overrated and overspoken term this week. But it was great to see them. We had quite a lot on the pitch and they all looked pretty good. And that'll be it, folks. That'll wrap us up for today. I will be back tomorrow with the news, but tomorrow's news video will more than likely be done live because I'm at a wedding. So I'm going to bring my laptop with me and I'll try and do it early in the morning, but I'll put it straight out as a live stream. I'll be there all day. You can catch up on that later on when you want to. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking and supporting the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.